Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips podcast with your geeky host, Lindsay Wheeler, where we talk about everything from death, preparing for your future through estate planning, life, the occasional breakup, entrepreneurship, general nerdery, and of course travel, snowboard, and always wine. Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips with your host, Lindsay, and today we're going to talk about digital life. Yeah, those OnlyFans accounts. What happens to those? Most of us live in a digital world, unless you live under a rock. We all live in a digital world these days, especially with the advent of AI and all the things that are happening. You know, crazy catfishing online with not even real people scamming you and calling you who don't even exist, or they just take your voice. There's a whole digital world out there that's happening, and a lot of scammers, frankly, too. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit of how to protect your digital assets, what to do with your digital assets, and what happens to them after you're gone, because you can live in the ether. And maybe by that time you can be an AI presence after you pass away, which might be cool for your loved ones. So let's get into that. So of course you have online presence, we have emails, we have phones, we have all our pictures are now on our phones, we have our social media accounts, we have banking. I mean, literally everything is digitized nowadays. We put everything online, everything's in the cloud, so you can access them. They become, readily available for you. And of course, hint, hint, we have that legacy vault that protects all of that and keeps that all on the cloud for you and not in paper. So we can talk more about how you can protect your digital assets through our legacy vault as well. So what happens though when someone passes away and say has a phone, they have a Facebook account, they have their email? Well, if you don't have anything in place or anything directing these agencies to give somebody the authority to handle your digital assets, it might have to go through the court system. And I recently did one of these with a client where she needed to get into her deceased husband's AOL account. That's how old they were. Yes, of course, AOL. And we had to go to the court and ask the court to give an order, an actual court order for the AOL provider. I don't know, CompuServe, who is that? I don't even know these days. But regardless, that to get access to his email so she can get whatever information she needed off of that to handle some things for him. And maybe look at his mistress emails. I really don't know, but she needed access. And then also his phone. She needed to get into his phone because, again, a lot of photos were on there, family information, phone numbers and things that he was the gatekeeper for, but that she no longer had access to because Apple was like, nope, no ma'am, we don't know who you are, and he didn't give us any authority to give that to you. So super important to now get these things set up. What we do in our estate plan is we have an assignment of digital assets that we are now transferring that authority to our trust or your people within your trust to be able to manage that for you. A lot of these platforms are now putting legacy contacts on there. So you can have that person named as a legacy contact who you are giving authorization for them to get into those accounts for you. So super important, make sure that you get those set up, go through all those things and put them on there. Just as like you would if you funded your trust, you're gonna make sure that these things are also funded to the trust, if you will, by way of putting those legacy nominations on there. In some states, you can even have a digital executor, if you will, of your digital life. So that's important as well. Having those set up, making sure that they are set up in the correct way. So always check with your state. And again, of course, we always include that in our full estate plans for you, so you don't have to do the guesswork to get that taken care of. So for instance, I can go through some of these with you. So Facebook now authorizes a designated legacy contact who can manage your account and memorialize your status or delete it entirely. So, when the joke is that if I'm dead, please go through and delete my browser history. Kind of same thing here. They can either delete your account or they can leave it as a legacy account, which is sometimes nice for people if they want to, send you a message when you're not here anymore, or kind of just stay in contact with you. It kind of is a nice thing for people in a way. They can upload photos and it can kind of become like a memorial scrapbook for these people, if you will. Instagram can do the same thing. Obviously, they're all owned by Meta. You can memorialize or remove upon request and proof of death. Apple is now gone to that digital legacy, so they allow you to add a legacy contact who can access your iCloud data, including photos, notes, emails after you pass away. So that's super important if you're using those services. I don't use Apple Mail. I think it's the worst program ever, but you might. So Google has an inactive account manager, so it lets you set up an inactive account manager who can access your Google services like Gmail and your photos after a certain period of inactivity. And then your other social media accounts, again, they handle them in those certain ways, but everybody's really moving to this because they understand that this is a problem and they don't want people having to go to the court to access somebody's freaking Facebook account, if you will. So making sure you have that How I prefer it, of course, hint, hint, is our legacy vault, which you can upload all of these passwords and authorizations into the legacy vault, and it's all in one place. So you give that authorization to your agent or whoever you trust to not only get a part of your estate plan and your life, if you will, your businesses, your account information, your brokers, who they're going to contact, all of that information is in there for your agent who you've put on your legacy vault account. But you can also put these passwords in there so that they can have that accessibility when you're not here. Makes it super easy. So instead of, if you have forgotten to set up these things, just put those passwords in there so, the person that you need to get into your stuff can get into your stuff and erase your browser history, and nobody will be the wiser that you're checking out foot and KFC fetishes. Just, it's a thing, I'm sure. There's a thing for everything, frankly. So important to have that done for yourself. Also important to let your people know, if you're setting up your estate plan, to know what do you want to have done with your stuff. Would you want to memorialize your Facebook page so people can come on there and leave you notes and leave you fun messages, and your friends can kind of all talk to each other, if you will, or share photos or share memories? Or no, we want to be, when we're gone, we're gone. All of that stuff is gone. So making sure that those instructions are clear. Again, we have that assignment of digital assets that are included in the estate plan. So make sure that if you do your estate plan, that is included. Very important this day and age. And then also, if you want to do that in your legacy vault, you can put those instructions in there, as well as what you want to have done with your digital well-being and your digital life at that point. This week on our wine talk, we have a Thomas Henry Pinot Noir from Sonoma County, 2023. This is really nice, actually. It's pretty well balanced. It's a nice Pinot, as you can tell. It's super light. It's got those nice aromatics to it. God, I sound so douchey when I talk about wine, but that's how douchey people talk about wine. Again, if you like it, you like it. It's a really nice Pinot. It's light. It's fruity. I like it. It's a really nice wine, so I'm glad I've selected this one for our wine talk today. And of course, if any winery would like to sponsor me so I can talk douchily about your wine, I would love that. So let me know. So just to wrap up, we live in a digital world. Everything is digitized these days. Our photos, our Facebooks, our Instagrams, our emails, our phones, all of our tech, like my computer. If I wasn't here, who's going to get into my computer and again, erase that browser history? Nobody at this point, unless I give a legacy contact. And a lot of these platforms and agencies are now moving toward that you can able to designate those people who you want to be able to have access to your digital world, just like you would your, a physical bank account or a physical lockbox. Exactly the same thing. These are all held down and all protected that way because they do have sensitive information on some of these. And as we know, with data breaches and things like that. So these agencies want to make sure that they're protecting your stuff and not giving out information or your legacy when you don't want to. And again, always can put it into your legacy vault with us and have those passwords and those authorizations within your legacy vault so your agent or whoever you want to handle your estate when you're not here has accessibility to that, and they're able to have it all in one spot. So it's a really nice thing to do for your loved ones, again, making life easier for them. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've had clients who are like battling with Verizon or battling with AT&T to just get the phone shut off. That's a crazy thing. You're like, this person's not here. I have a death certificate. And they're like, nah, but do they? Are they? Yeah. So of course you're dealing with corporate America on some of these big, big things, and nobody has compassion or care. So making sure that you get that set up, making sure that everything is in its place. And again, making it easy for your successor trustees or your agents or whoever you've designated to take care of your estate when you're not here. Giving them passwords, giving the authorization, putting that legacy plan in place with those digital assets. So if you have questions about that or want to get that legacy vault set up so you have everything in one spot, I'm always available to talk about that. And of course, when you think of death, think of me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you found value, please like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to follow me on all the socials at Sips and Tips with Lindsay. And of course, you can always go to my website, sipsandtipswithlindsay.com, to find more information about estate planning, business, snowboard, travel, and of course, wine. As always, we have to get the legal stuff out of the way. I went to law school, so you don't have to. However, we have to read the special disclaimer that I am not a practicing attorney. I am not your attorney. I am not offering any legal advice in any content or any episode. All content is for your information and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for seeking your own legal advice from your own attorney or other professionals such as a CPA or financial advisor. I cannot give legal advice and do not offer any legal services or legal advice, but I do offer some fun and educational content for you to enjoy.